Hey everyone, Jennifer Lee Chan here. Thank you so much for tuning into my YouTube page and hanging along with me while we get ready for the NFL draft. Really appreciate everybody watching and commenting. I've been enjoying interacting with everybody, so thank you so much for tuning in. And I'll be bringing you more and more updates as the draft approaches, which is just a few days away. I can't believe it's already Monday before the draft, which is Thursday. The 49ers have the number 11 overall pick, and it's kind of exciting because we don't know where they're going to go with that pick. I'm thinking defensive end, defensive tackle, but all bets are off when it comes to the draft. It could be the best player available. We don't know who's going to be picked in front of the 49ers. So there is that. There are a lot of variables. But one thing, that's been on a lot of people's minds, of course, is Brock Purdy. So still no news from Brock Purdy. And I did do a video about him primarily yesterday, talking about the agent and all the elements that come into negotiating a mega contract like this. And, I've talked before about how it's the percentage of the cap, and the keeps going up every year. So quarterbacks generally make 22 to 20, sometimes 25% of the cap, with the entire cap being 280 million dollars. 20% of the cap is right about $60 million. So if you look at Kyler Murray, who had, you know, a big mega contract, his second contract with the Arizona Cardinals was 40 something million dollars a year. And it was still 22% of the cap, 23% of the cap. So when it goes up how it is right now, Brock Purdy could be arguing for $60 million a year. Now, if you look at a lot of the other quarterbacks, they're all around 55% or $55 million, which is about 22%. Dak Prescott is an anomaly. I don't know what the Cowboys are doing. I don't know if the Cowboys know what the Cowboys are doing. The Cowboys are cowboying, is what's happening. So the foreigners have, some time to get things straight. I know everybody wanted to get it done before OTAs, before report day, which is Tuesday tomorrow. So a lot of the foreigners players are going to be reporting tomorrow. They're going to start going through conditioning. That's kind of how it goes. Some players will be available to us in the media conference room tomorrow, so we'll get to talk to some of them. But really, I'm less concerned about Brock Purdy's contract and more concerned with the other two that really need an extension, and that is George Kittle and that is Fred Warner. Foreigners have been slow on getting these big contracts done. They've, waited out. They tried to keep their offer low. We've seen it with Nick Bosa not getting done until way late in training camp. Fred Warner came in late. George Kittle on his last one right before training camp. You look at Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, those two. I mean, the big ones that took forever were Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. Now, wide receivers are a different category in and of themselves. Wide receivers will, I think, like the drama. They like the attention. It was incredibly dramatic. Deebo Samuel holding out. And then when he finally came in, was he going to be in shape? And then it was Brandon Ayuk and being, holding in and being on the field. And every single move that he made was being broadcast all over the stratosphere. Well, this year, I think while there is going to be some, I guess, negotiations that go on until training camp, and I think that's with Brock Purdy, George Kittle, and Fred Warner all together. I do think that at least Fred Warner and Brock Purdy do show up for OTAs and the offseason program. George Kittle, I'm not so sure about. We'll see. He generally is a guy that does show up, but a lot of that we'll see Tuesday, which is tomorrow, which is report day, where they start the 2 weeks of general conditioning. So a little bit more concerned about George Kittle, although I do know that he was close to California. He was in Las Vegas for WrestleMania, and his favorite wrestler was there who had his debut with WWE. His celebration, his first down celebration, which is No Fear, and I think it's Sierra. I can't say it, but I do know it means No Fear. But his favorite wrestler was in his wrestling debut. And I did see that. Let's see. I should have had this ready. So, um, his favorite wrestler is Penta El Zero Miedo. And Zero Miedo means no fear. That's George Kittle's first down celebration. Usually, when he scores a touchdown, it's a big spike at the football. So he was at WrestleMania over the weekend. So he is close to California. So I think maybe he reports. But I do think that Brock Purdy shows up. I do think there's not any reason to be worried. I'm a little bit more, and I'm not worried. I think I'm more concerned that the 49ers need to get this deal done with Kittle and with Fred Warner ahead of time. I really think they need to get the one with Fred Warner done ahead of time because if they wait another year for Fred Warner, the price tag is just going to go up. With George Kittle, same thing. Um, so while George Kittle is a staple for the 49ers franchise and he could sit out of the beginning of OTAs, I do think Brock Purdy shows up as the quarterback, the leader of the team. It's imperative that a quarterback is there to lead, to be the leader, because really they are the ultimate leader outside of the head coach on the team. They're the leader of the locker room. And I do think Brock Purdy is that guy. And I think that's why he deserves as much money as he's going to get paid. Brock Purdy, I know there are a couple schools of thought out there that he was the 262nd pick of the draft when he was drafted. He was in the seventh round. He doesn't deserve this. But when you look at his resume, his body of work, he has been a leader since he walked into the headquarters at Santa Clara. He has been there. He was there when Trey Lance was there, being a supporting member. And when he got his chance, he took over and he was lights out. Brock Purdy, now I think there are quarterbacks that Kyle Shanahan has worked with that he loved their talent level, that he loved. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo is incredibly talented quarterback, but Brock Purdy brings something else. Brock Purdy brings the intelligence level and the desire to understand every element of Kyle Shanahan's offense. And that's not for everybody. Kyle Shanahan is an incredibly demanding coach, and he asks for a lot from everybody on the offense, and I mean, everybody on the team overall. But I think really for a quarterback, I know that he bonded really well with Nick Mullins, but Nick Mullins also had the UCL surgery. His arm strength wasn't what it was before. And, he's Nick Mullins also. Not an incredibly talented arm, but a great leader, a great guy. But I think with Brock Purdy, there's more. Brock Purdy is a guy who can make things happen. He can make plays happen. And so this is why the 49ers need to get this deal done. And I think they will. But at this point now, they really needed to get Brock Purdy, George Kittle, and Fred Warner done. So the next domino to fall, is it Brock Purdy or is it George Kittle? I think it probably will be easier to get George Kittle or Fred Warner done, but we haven't heard any updates on any of those three. But they do need to get them done, and the plan, the thought is to get it done before the season starts. So we'll definitely see what happens. We'll talk to John Lynch tomorrow, and he'll give us updates on all of it. But as of now, no reporting of who is headed to Santa Clara, but I do think that Brock Purdy shows up, and I would think Fred Warner does. One jury's out on George Kittle, but we'll see. We'll see who comes to the podium Tuesday to talk to the local attending media, and I'll keep you updated. All right. Hope you all are well. Happy draft week, and we'll be talking a lot this week. Leave your questions, anything you'd like to hear from me, any questions you'd like me to kind of focus in on. The podcast with Charles Davis on 49ers Talk is dropping today. So definitely check out 49ers Talk. Check out it on wherever you get your podcasts. And then we'll also do the video. So I recorded a video with Charles Davis. It's about 15, 16 minutes long. He talks about whether he thinks there's going to be a trade, what the 49ers should focus on, and the best players in the draft, and also some lesser heard of names that I think might be of interest to those of you who follow the 49ers. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Check out 49ers Talk with Charles Davis as our guest interview, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.